Why is Thomas Tuchel ignoring Luke Shaw? Manchester United left baffled by England's snub. Welcome to Unite United News, where we tackle the stories that matter to Manchester United fans. Today we have a situation that is frustrating everyone at Old Trafford. Luke Shaw has been playing regularly for United this season, starting all 13 Premier League matches. Yet England manager Thomas Tuchel continues to ignore him completely. Let us break down why this is happening and why people at United cannot understand the decision. The situation that has United scratching their heads. According to reports from The Sun, Manchester United coaches and staff are baffled by Thomas Tuchel's continued omission of Luke Shaw from the England squad. This is not just mild surprise. This is genuine confusion about why a player who is performing well for his club cannot even get a call-up to the national team. The facts are clear. Luke Shaw has started in all 13 Premier League games for Manchester United so far this season. That is 100% availability in the league. For a player who has struggled with injuries throughout his career, this kind of consistent fitness is remarkable. Yet despite this availability and regular playing time, Shaw has not featured for England since July 2024. That is more than a year ago. During that time, Shaw has been fit, playing regularly, and doing his job for Manchester United. So why is Thomas Tuchel not calling him up? Why is a 30-year-old experienced international being overlooked? And why are people at Manchester United so confused by this decision? Shaw's importance under the previous manager. To understand why this situation is so strange, we need to look at how Shaw was viewed by the previous England manager. Under Gareth Southgate, Luke Shaw was considered a key player for the Three Lions. Southgate took Shaw to the European Championship in 2024, despite the defender making just 12 league appearances for Manchester United during the 2023-24 season. Think about that. Shaw barely played for his club that season due to injuries, yet Southgate still wanted him in the England squad. This shows how highly Southgate rated Shaw. The former England boss believed Shaw's quality and experience were so valuable that he was worth including even when not fully match fit. During Euro 2024, Shaw did not play until the quarterfinal stage. But once he was ready, he started the final against Spain. This was not a small decision. This was the biggest match of the tournament, and Southgate trusted Shaw to start at left back. This demonstrates that Shaw was not just a squad player under Southgate. He was a crucial part of the team when fit. His ability to overlap, his defensive positioning, and his experience in big matches made him valuable. Who Tuchel is picking instead. So if Tuchel is not picking Shaw, who is he selecting instead? This is where things get interesting and where United's confusion becomes more understandable. In the recent World Cup qualifiers against Serbia and Albania, Tuchel selected 20-year-old Manchester City left-back Nico O'Reilly. This is a player with far less experience than Shaw, playing for England at senior level for the first time. Newcastle United's Dan Burn also appears to be ahead of Shaw in Tuchel's pecking order. Burn is a solid Premier League player but not necessarily better than Shaw. Tottenham's Jed Spence, who is primarily a right-back but can play on the left, also seems to be preferred by Tuchel. Even Arsenal's Miles Lewis-Skelly, who was dropped from the most recent squad after being called up twice before, appears to be rated higher by Tuchel than Shaw. Lewis-Skelly is just 18 years old with minimal top-level experience. Looking at this list of players, you can understand why Manchester United staff are baffled. Shaw has more experience, more big-game appearances, and is playing more regularly than most of these options. Yet he cannot get a call-up. How Shaw is playing this season. Let us talk about Shaw's actual performances for Manchester United this season. This is important because if he was playing poorly, Tuchel's decision would make sense. But that is not the case. Shaw has been playing on the left side of Ruben Amorim's back three. This is a slightly different role than traditional left back, requiring different responsibilities. In a back three, Shaw needs to be solid defensively, good in possession, and able to step forward when needed. According to reports, those at Manchester United are convinced that Shaw is having a good season. The coaches see him in training every day. They watch him in matches. They analyze his performances in detail. And their assessment is that Shaw is doing well. Yes, Shaw has just one assist in 13 appearances this season. but this statistic needs context. Playing on the left of a back three means Shaw is not attacking as much as a traditional left back would. His role is more defensive and focused on building play from the back. Amorim's system uses wing-backs to provide the width and attacking threat. The three center-backs, including Shaw's position, are more about defensive solidity and starting attacks with good passing. So judging Shaw purely on assists or attacking output misses the point of what his role actually is under Amorim. Why Tuchel might be ignoring Shaw. Even though United are confused by this decision, we can try to understand why Tuchel might be thinking this way. Age and future planning. Shaw is 30 years old. Tuchel might be looking ahead to the 2026 World Cup and beyond, preferring to build around younger players who will be available for multiple tournaments. Players like O'Reilly and Lewis Skelly represent the future, while Shaw represents the present. Tactical preferences. Tuchel might want something different from his left back than what Shaw offers. Maybe he wants more pace, more attacking threat, or a different style of defending. Managers have preferences, and sometimes good players just do not fit what a specific manager wants. Injury history. Shaw's career has been plagued by injuries. Even though he has been fit this season, Tuchel might worry about his reliability. Why build your team around someone who might break down before or during a major tournament? Perception versus reality. Sometimes managers form opinions about players, and those opinions are hard to change. If Tuchel has decided Shaw is not what he wants, good club performances might not be enough to change his mind. System differences. England and Manchester United play different systems. What works for Shaw in Amorim's back three might not translate to how Tuchel wants England to play. The fairness question. Is it fair to ignore Luke Shaw completely? This is where opinions will differ. On one hand, international managers should pick the best players available. If Shaw is performing well for Manchester United and is one of England's most experienced left-backs, surely he deserves at least a call-up to the squad? On the other hand, international managers have the right to pick whoever they want. If Tuchel believes younger players or different options suit his plans better, that is his decision to make. He will be judged on results, and if England succeed without Shaw, nobody will care about the snub. The frustrating part for Shaw and for Manchester United is the lack of clarity. Has Tuchel explained to Shaw why he is not being selected? Has he told him what he needs to improve or change to earn a call-up? Or is Shaw just being ignored without explanation? Communication matters in these situations. If Shaw knew exactly what Tuchel wanted from him, he could work on those areas. But if he is just being overlooked without feedback, that is harder to accept. What Shaw needs to do. If Luke Shaw wants to force his way back into England contention, what does he need to do? According to the reports, Shaw might need to improve in the final third to convince Tuchel. This means more assists, more attacking threat, more moments where he creates danger for the opposition. But here is the problem. Shaw's role at Manchester United does not allow for much attacking. He plays in a back three where his primary job is defending and building from the back. Asking him to get more assists from that position is like asking a goalkeeper to score more goals. Shaw could push forward more when United have the ball, but that might compromise the defensive structure that Amorim wants. It puts Shaw in a difficult position where he has to balance his club responsibilities with what might help his international chances. The other option is simply to keep doing what he is doing and hope Tuchel eventually recognizes his value. Sometimes consistency and reliability are enough. If Shaw stays fit and plays well for United all season, maybe Tuchel will reconsider before the World Cup. How this affects Manchester United. You might wonder why Manchester United staff care so much about Shaw's England situation. After all, they should just be focused on United performances, right? But there are several reasons why this matters to United. Player morale. Being ignored by your national team when you think you deserve a call-up can affect a player's confidence and happiness. United want Shaw in a good mental space because that helps him perform better for the club. Validation. When United players get international call-ups, it validates the club's belief in those players. If the coaches think Shaw is doing well but Tuchel disagrees, it creates doubt about their own assessments. Rest benefits. On the flip side, not having Shaw go on international duty means he gets more rest, and United have him available during international breaks for training. This could actually be beneficial for the club. Summer plans. If Shaw has no hope of making England's World Cup squad, it might affect his thinking about his future. He is 30 years old, and his contract situation will need addressing soon. The broader pattern with English players. This situation with Shaw fits into a broader pattern we are seeing with English players and international selection. Thomas Tuchel is bringing a fresh perspective as England's first German manager. And that means some established players are being left out while younger options get chances. This is not necessarily wrong. National teams need to refresh and develop new talent. But it does create situations like this where experienced players who are performing well for their clubs find themselves on the outside looking in. For English players at Manchester United specifically, this is a concern. If Tuchel does not rate certain United players even when they are playing well, it could affect the club's ability to attract and keep English talent. What happens next? Over the coming months, this situation will develop in several ways. Shaw's United form. If Shaw continues playing well for United and stays fit all season, the pressure on Tuchel to call him up will grow. Younger options. If the young left-backs Tuchel is picking perform well for England, it justifies his decision to overlook Shaw. If they struggle, Shaw's experience becomes more valuable. World Cup qualification. England's results will matter. If they qualify comfortably for the World Cup, Tuchel can afford to experiment. If qualification becomes difficult, he might need to bring back experienced players like Shaw. Injuries. If other left-backs get injured, Shaw could get called up by necessity rather than choice. Communication. Hopefully Tuchel will speak to Shaw directly and explain his thinking. Even if the news is not what Shaw wants to hear, clarity is better than silence. What United fans should think. If you are a Manchester United supporter, how should you view this situation? On one level, having Shaw available during international breaks is actually good for United. He gets rest, he stays with the club's training program, and there is no risk of him getting injured on international duty. On another level, it is frustrating to see your player overlooked when he is performing well. United fans know Shaw's quality. They see him every week. Having Tuchel ignore him feels like disrespect not just to Shaw but to Manchester United. The key thing is to separate club and country. Shaw's international situation should not affect how we value him as a United player. If he keeps performing well for United, that is what matters most to the club and fans. The bigger picture on Shaw's career. Luke Shaw is 30 years old now. His career has been defined by brilliant highs and frustrating injury lows. When fit and in form, he is one of the best left-backs in the Premier League. But injuries have stopped him from reaching his full potential. This season represents one of Shaw's best periods for fitness. Playing 13 straight league matches is an achievement given his injury history. If he can maintain this fitness for the whole season, it would be a massive success. The England situation is disappointing, but Shaw still has plenty to play for. He is a key player for Manchester United under Ruben Amorim. He is showing he can stay fit and perform consistently. And if he continues this way, international opportunities might come again. 30, Shaw is not at the end of his career. He could still play at a high level for another 3 or 4 years. The question is whether his body will hold up and whether he can keep performing week after week. Final thoughts from United News. Thomas Tuchel's decision to keep ignoring Luke Shaw from England squads has left Manchester United coaches and staff genuinely confused. Shaw is fit, playing regularly, and performing his role well in Amorim's system. Yet he cannot even get a call-up. Whether this is fair or not depends on your perspective. Tuchel has the right to pick whoever he wants for England. If he prefers younger options or different profiles, that is his choice. But from United's viewpoint, overlooking an experienced, fit, and performing left-back seems strange. For Shaw, the focus needs to stay on Manchester United. His club performances are good. His fitness is holding up. The England situation is out of his control, so there is no point worrying about it too much. For United fans, having Shaw available during international breaks might actually be a blessing in disguise. More rest, less travel, less injury risk. Maybe being ignored by England will end up helping his United career. Here at United News, we will continue to track this story. If Shaw's situation changes, if Tuchel explains his thinking, or if the younger options fail to impress, we will bring you all the updates. Thank you for trusting us to cover the stories that matter to Manchester United. We give you the honest truth about what is happening with your club and your players. Stay with United News for all your Manchester United coverage. Come on, United!